I don't think Bobby Babich being promoted to defensive coordinator means he's going to be calling plays for the Buffalo Bills in 2024. Bobby Babich promoted from within, once being a safety coach, then linebacker coach, and now defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. What does this ultimately mean for this Buffalo Bills team? Does it mean that Sean McDermott is not going to be calling plays? Now, one, we did see Bobby Babich in the preseason test things out, calling plays for Sean McDermott's defense, and it kind of rose a question as to whether Sean McDermott was going to be calling defensive plays for the Buffalo Bills in 2023. And sure enough, Sean McDermott definitely did that, but maybe it will be different for 2024. Now, the reason why I don't personally believe Bobby Babich is going to be calling plays and what I think this ultimately means for the Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott did an excellent job calling plays for the 2023 Buffalo Bills, having such a top-notch defense with all of the injuries, Trey White, Von Miller getting back to himself, so many more guys going down throughout the year. Matt Milano, who was going to be taught by Bobby Babich as our linebacker coach last year in 2023. But one thing that I've been kind of preaching here is that Sean McDermott put so much on his plate in 2023, being a head coach and defensive coordinator. Now, what I think this is going to do, Bobby Babich is going to be able to put more on his plate. Like, they're going to be able to delegate more of Sean McDermott's tasks to Bobby Babich. And there are rumors right now that Eric Washington could very well sign as a defensive coordinator with the Chicago Bears, pairing back up with Tremaine Edmonds. So we have to understand that we might lose Eric Washington, and Bobby Babich being promoted from within, working with the safeties to the linebackers, now being defensive coordinator, really he understands how this team ultimately works. Understanding the secondary of this Buffalo Bills defense, understanding the linebackers, and ultimately how the linebackers jive with the defensive line. He understands each and every single level of this Buffalo Bills defense. And as a defensive coordinator, you're going to be floating around all position groups. So being that Bobby Babich started with the safeties, moved on to the linebackers, and was strictly focused on the linebackers in 2023, how much time do you think he was spending with the safeties? But now with him being defensive coordinator, he's going to be allowed to float around all these different position groups with the Buffalo Bills defense, helping out, creating synergy between the groups, maybe having this defense play a little bit better. We heard countless players state how detailed Sean McDermott was, spending time in every single defensive meeting and being a head coach. And you have to think that he was spread a little bit thin, especially when it came to crucial situations in the game time decisions, understanding when to call a timeout, when not to call a timeout, just understanding those moments in the game, and also having to deal with calling defensive plays, having to deal with players getting hurt, and how he was going to fill those holes during a game, take care of those surprises during the game. Sean McDermott was just tasked with so much in 2023 that I think that promoting Bobby Babich from within is going to take some off the plate and should ultimately help out this entire team. The last point, Bobby Babich was really a secondary safety coach for the Buffalo Bills, and maybe what this does is it opens the door for the Buffalo Bills to bring in an actual linebacker coach. Bobby Babich and what he brought to our linebackers and what we really needed from our linebackers was their coverage ability. Losing Tremaine Edmonds, getting Terrell Bernard, even drafting Dorian Williams, Matt Milano, we needed coverage-style linebackers, and it made a lot of sense to have our safety coach move to our linebacker coach and ultimately teach them those skills, those coverage skills. Even Dotson did fairly well, improving in his coverage, being a bigger style linebacker. But maybe they did lack some of those block shedding things, some of those great techniques against the run, or doing things that aren't coverage. And I think bringing in an additional linebacker here with a little bit more experience as a linebacker coach, this is what it does. I think this is really going to help progress a Dorian Williams. It's going to help progress Terrell Bernard and also Balin Spector. And for me, it could very well be Luke Kuechly, who's been helping out the Buffalo Bills occasionally in training camps, and maybe maybe it really will be him. But again, I really think it opens the door now for Sean McDermott, to really not spread himself so thin, especially during games, and for his preparation during the week, just overseeing the entire team, offense, defense, and special teams. Clearly, we had issues on special teams. And then what this also means is that Bobby Babich, being a safety coach, moving on to a linebacker coach, understanding each level of this Buffalo Bills defense is just going to help the synergy between each and every single position group. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to open the door for the Buffalo Bills to bring in a linebacker coach for a very reasonable rate and help teach these linebackers be better in run support, maybe be better at blitzing, understanding how to read the defensive line, how to pursue the quarterback. And promoting from within, again, gives us the best shot. Bobby Babich understands this team. He understands the play calls. And we also will get him for a very reasonable price. Poaching a defensive coordinator that's competing and bidding for open jobs in the NFL right now just means you're going to have to pay a premium for that defensive coordinator. And knowing that Bobby Babich has never been defensive coordinator, he's still trying to make a name for himself and probably ultimately be a defensive coordinator or a head coach eventually. I really believe this was the cheapest, most frugal route the Buffalo Bills could go, and ultimately the best route the Buffalo Bills could go to hit the ground running in 2024. And the surprise element here is that maybe Sean McDermott does not even call plays for the Buffalo Bills in 2024. Maybe he hands things off to Bobby Babich, who did a great job in that preseason game. It didn't seem like anything was lost when Bobby Babich was calling the plays. So Sean McDermott could just be there as an insurance piece for Bobby Babich in case things start to slip up during the season. Sean McDermott could always take over that role again. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. Maybe Sean McDermott stays with calling plays, but spends a little bit less time in the defensive meetings, which I don't know would make a whole lot of sense. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment down below. Do you think Bobby Babich is definitely going to be calling plays here, being that he's defensive coordinator? What are the added benefits of having Bobby Babich be a safety coach, a linebacker coach, and now being promoted from within to now a defensive coordinator? And do you think this is going to open the door for the Buffalo Bills to bring in an additional linebacker coach to help these linebackers progress, especially Dorian Williams, Terrell Bernard, Baylon Spector, a young developing group on this team? But I truly appreciate you guys all so much. If you want to support me and my efforts for this channel, to keep this channel alive, 80% of you are not subscribed, but hit like, subscribe. Also check the links in the description. We have the Buffalo Chicken Wing merch with free shipping, sizes small through 5XL, all different colors, different styles too, and you can get Course Careers, an online certificate to get a 100% remote job. They're directly tied to employers. They trust the graduates are going to be ready to go when they hit the workforce. Tons and tons of people are getting hired. That's how I personally landed my full-time job. But again, you guys mean the absolute world to me. Make sure you guys hit like, subscribe. I will check you guys soon, and go Bills.